I'm back. I'm back. Hey, guess what? We're not only back, but we're going to be doing video as well. So there's going to be a podcast and a YouTube channel. And I got big announcements. You guys got to stay tuned. I got some big announcements in this podcast. I got a lot going on, and I'm so excited to be back to share them with you. Welcome to the Kindling Fire. My name is Troy Mangum. This podcast is here to advance the revolution Jesus started, a revolution of the free, the fire starters, the troublemakers, and the zealots. I interview people who I think are awesome, who have heard that revolutionary call and are going after Jesus with their whole heart. If you listen to this show and join our community, I know God is going to speak to you. I believe God wants to change the world through you, through your unique gifts and talents He's given you. This podcast is here to be a voice of encouragement in your life, a voice that says, with God you can, and with God you will. Let's get rolling. If only you could know where you are going in a year from now. If only the path of following Jesus was like a linear trajectory, it kind of made sense. You kind of know where you're going to be 6 months, a year from now. Guys, I found a verse that says it better than I can say it. Go figure, it's in the Bible. And so I'm gonna share it. And then I'll get into, what am I doing here? Yeah, what am I doing here? All right, so let's start there. Let's start with the verse. John 3:8. The wind blows, Jesus is speaking, the wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. So what are people like that are born of the Spirit? So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. I'll give you another verse. Hebrews 11:8, talking about Abraham, the father of our faith. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. Even though he did not know where he was going, he obeyed and went. So if you've been around the Kindling Fire for very long, you know that I haven't been around. And in fact, I pretty much, I never really made an announcement on the podcast, but I did on my Instagram that, hey, we're done. I'm done. It's been 3.5 years of an amazing journey, and it's reached a conclusion. The quest, I talked about a quest, and it was done. So what am I doing here? What am I saying that I'm back? What's going on? So that's a great question. Where do I start? I think I'll start here, which is, most of my life, all of my life, as a Christian, I've really tried to follow the voice of the Lord. And I've really tried to understand the voice of the Lord. I've really tried to hear the voice of the Lord. And I've really tried to follow the voice of the Lord through Scripture and by His Spirit. And it's gotten me into some trouble. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble, actually. Sometimes I've nailed it, like it's definitely been the Lord. And sometimes I got it wrong. And go often as not. This summer, when I really was starting to feel this stirring, like I think the kindling fire's over, I was also hearing from the Lord, quote unquote, some things that weren't true. And I wasn't hearing from God, clearly. It was stuff about some job stuff that I thought was going to happen. It didn't end up happening. And I was just like, what? How is it that I can get it right one place, and how is it I can get it wrong somewhere else? And it was around this time that I was really starting to sense that I don't know what to do with the kindling fire. And the Lord was really gracious. I really do believe He spoke to me about the quest and having these questions, because it really was a framework. So if you know anything about me, one of the things that you might recognize is that I like things to be sort of defined in lanes. Like, this is what it's about. One of the things that I've enjoyed about doing the Kindling Fire is it had a reason. It had a real definite reason. It was hearing, letting people like you hear amazing God stories of people that I knew and people that, I was going to meet. And then also for the whole purpose of, through their testimony, you would be empowered and just ignited to follow God. And then I also had this quest of like all these questions, and I processed that. I did a whole podcast on that. You can listen to the last one, which you probably have because it was back in August of last year, 2020. And it is not that now. It's like almost May 2021. So why am I back? Man, what a question. So before I answer that question, let me tell you this. I'm back, but the verses that I shared, so it is with everyone born of the Spirit. The wind comes, you feel its effect, but you don't know where it's coming from or where it's going. So it is with Abraham when he said he went, he obeyed and went, even though he didn't know where he was going, but later he would receive an inheritance. Guys, I'm inviting you on this journey of the return of the Kindling Fire, but what is it going to look like? I wish I could say 100%, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. I don't have all that. So, back to the question, what am I doing back? So, the thing I want to share with you is, if you've been with me for very long, you've heard me talk about a book. And I took you guys along the writing journey of that book for about 1.5 years. And even to the point of where I was working with the editor, and then kind of everything kind of shut down. And I would get questions like, you releasing your book? What's going on with your book? And here's what's going on. So number one, I am releasing Fatherhood Faceplants, which is huge. Gosh, it is so huge. I wish, well, I guess you can see a smile on my face because I'm doing video now. So this is not only going to be a podcast, but it'll be on YouTube. So you can go to the YouTube channel and watch it. But yeah, the book is going to be real. I don't have a published date yet. I'm waiting on some very, very final things. But I'm going to be publishing this book very soon. I'm going to be telling you about when it's coming. And I'm so excited to get this into your hands because the journey it's been on since I finished writing it has been nothing less of miraculous. So a couple things I'll tell you about the book. I am getting some early folks to read it, but the number one and number two and number three most important people that read my book first was my wife, my oldest daughter, and my oldest son. And I have 2 other kids, but they're a little bit younger. But I wanted them to be, I wanted them to be supportive and say, yeah, this needs to happen or doesn't. And why do I share that? Because there's some very, very serious, sensitive things that are shared in this book that are very true to our family, that are very revealing of myself. And I need to know that my family was on board. And I can tell you that they're on board. And with their support and with friends like you and listeners like you, this book is going to become a reality. This podcast is not about the book. I'm actually going to talk lots about the book and different things about the book coming up. This is more of a, kind of what am I doing back kind of show. And so that's one answer to the question is I'm releasing a book and I want to get back. I just want to be with you guys again and be able to share all that God has done. The other things that I kind of been feeling like, well, what is this Kindling Fire world going to look like kind of going forward? I'm going to be making some changes on my Instagram and because the Lord's really kind of steered my heart towards creating something for young men. And so if you've seen on the Instagram about Hocoka Men, you're going to be hearing a lot more about that and hearing about the members of the council, which is this group of men over 50 that have kind of combined their hearts to say we want to invest in the next generation. And they've all distinguished themselves as lovers of God and faithful followers of God. And I want you to hear more from them. So you're going to hear more about Hocoka Men on the Kindling Fire. You're going to hear about Fatherhood Faceplants on the Kindling Fire. You're going to hear about a clothing brand that I'm not quite ready to talk to in full, but it's called Be True Threads. You're going to hear about a missions initiative that is going to be able to let people like you send families to the nations. If you know anything about the Kindling Fire, you know that we were YWAM missionaries. You want to help other families do that as well, reach the nations. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that. There's so many things that I've got going on. And I want to talk about all of them. And I don't want to say, well, I'm not going to have interviews anymore. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like. And some of my reluctance in coming to you right now is like, I don't have it all predefined. But I want you to know that I do believe the Lord is saying, and the reason I'm back, I'll be honest, the reason I'm back, another reason I'm back, is I have good friends. I have good friends and good counsel, people that I can talk to. And everybody I've talked to said, why'd you stop? And I thought, well, the honest answer was, I thought the Lord wanted me to stop. And I was a little disappointed. I'll be honest. I had all kinds of things I wanted to do, but I can just chalk that up to, you know what? Maybe I didn't hear right. And if you read anything in my book when it comes out, you'll come to find out that that's pretty consistent with me. I can hit it and I can miss it, and I guess that's kind of life. And at my age, one of the things I want to encourage you, if you're younger and you're really trying to follow the Lord, you might get it wrong sometimes, and that doesn't have to be the end. And it can just be a new chapter and a new beginning. And so I am back. I am going to be doing shows. I'm going to be doing just so much. And I do want to give you a heads up that with the release of my book, I think I'm going to be actually changing my Instagram just a touch to be a little bit more encompassing to the Kindling Fire and other things that I've got going on. And so expect that change coming soon. And, I just am so excited. I mentioned it, but yeah, I'm going to be doing a video version of these podcasts on YouTube. And so it's not just going to be audio. And I hope to work all that out when I have interviews. And I haven't figured all that out yet. I'm just getting started on the video side because mostly everything I've been doing is just regular podcast. And man, I think that's all I want to share right now. I have missed everybody, and I am so appreciative of everybody that has reached out to me during this time that I've been away, just saying, hey, I miss you. It's not the same. My podcast feed is just not the same. And others that have said, hey, I just came across you. When are you going to do a new episode? And I hadn't done one since August. So I'm back. And I'm so excited to be back. I'm excited to be being able to share this journey, this adventure of following God with your whole heart with you. And I hope that it will inspire you. I hope that you will see, even through some of my mistakes, that, it's okay. It's okay to lose your way. It's okay to kind of be on pause. And this is one of those things that I say, well, what was God's purpose in leading me to kind of ramp it down? I don't know. Was it God that spoke to me about it? I looked back in my journals and it was kind of unclear. He never really said stop. I just kind of concluded to stop. And so, all that is to say is that, sometimes in following God, if there's any lesson that can be learned, God's still good. And you may not understand, that Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, lean not on your own understanding. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him and He will set your path straight. Guys, God's that faithful. God is that faithful. It may not make sense to you. Things may not make sense to you, but if you commit your way to the Lord, He'll set your path straight. He'll get you on the right path. And I think part of the right path for me is to be back doing the podcast and be doing a lot of the other things that I got going on, and just sharing my life with you, and sharing my friends with you, and sharing what wisdom God is giving my friends and me and other people that I might interview. And it's just a joy to be back, guys. And I just can't wait for, I just invite you to come along with the journey. I can't tell you we're going to get to this destination, but I do know that God, through some wise counsel of all my friends, I believe it's time to come back. I believe it's time to share more of the great things God is doing. And it's just good to be back, guys. So anyway, that's it. That'll be a short podcast today, but expect a lot more coming. So love you guys. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Go to Instagram at The Kindling Fire to find out more about what we offer, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Kindling Fire. There you can find Bible devotionals, e-courses, and etc. Okay, guys, as always, be awesome.